Hi Ed. Having a few problems with this camera, still trying to get it set up, but thought I'd do a little live just to see how I can get it working, and here we are. Let's put the camera over there, and then it's where I'm looking at the camera. Hi Ed. Having a few problems with this camera, still trying to get it set up, but thought I'd do a little live just to see how I can get it working, and here we are. Over there, and then it's where I'm looking at the camera. I need to switch the sound off on this speaker because otherwise you're getting an echo of an echo. You'll get it again and again and again. So let's get rid of the sound there. That's better. So where am I speaking to you now? Where are you, Ed? My day. Yeah, I went fishing down the beach this evening or this afternoon. But you know, you have one of those days where everything you touch isn't going to work, and it was one of those nights. It really was. Everything I did, what went wrong? Well, cast out. Okay, got 2 rods out, not a problem. Got bite, wound it in. Little ding-a-ling. Went to rebase it up, cast out and cracked off. So that's the first disaster. Then re-tackle that. Oh, it just went on and on and on. The camera wasn't working. Yeah, it was just one of those disastrous nights. Just nothing seemed to work. So I fished until it was dark, and then just knocked it on head. And I wasn't catching anything. I had a couple of little white in and a couple of little ding-a-lings. Nothing else really. Yeah, so a bit of an anticlimax because yesterday the session on the beach yesterday was really good. What about you? How's your day been? You been out fishing at all? Hey Dave, Dave's fishing. How you doing, mate? Been fishing at all? Yeah, it must be the weather or something. It must be the time of the year or something. I don't know, the end of winter. Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a shit day, but it was just nothing seemed to work. Oh yeah, left the reels indoors. Yeah, I don't think I've ever done that. I've gone to the boat and I had the keys with me. I had to go back and get them. Yeah. Yeah, no, I had all the stuff with me. I had the dog with me as well, which is a pain because there was lots of people walking dogs down the beach, and yeah, he wanted to scrap with every dog that came along. And then he met this big girl dog, and I think he fell in love. Oh, 75 miles away from the sea to go get your reels. I moaned about having to go 5 minutes back to get my keys. Oh, I'll tell you what I did do once. I filled the tanks up in the petrol station and I splashed a bit of fuel on top of the tanks. So I thought I'll leave them out while I go and pay to let it evaporate away. Got to the boat, went, where's the fuel? I left it in the petrol station, so that was a bit of a nightmare. Luckily they were still there, but yeah. Oh, and I filled the tanks up for the boat in a hurry, and because my car's a diesel, so what I filled the tanks up with diesel, and I was steaming down the river, and it started to run really rough and smoke a lot. And I'd not long had this engine, so I managed to limp it around to the place where I bought it. And so this engine you've sold me, it's knackered. So they were very apologetic. Well, let's have a look at it. It's probably this, or it's probably that. When I went back in a bit later on, they went, who put diesel in the fuel tank? I went, no. Oh shit, maybe it was me. Yeah, so they have a picture of me wearing a stupid hat. They have a top hat for people that do stupid things in the shop. So I'm on the wall. Yeah, it was lucky. I mean, lucky the fuel. Lucky I didn't knacker the engine. Actually, if I'd been going any further, I got out into the sea and I'd opened the engine right up, and then flooded it with diesel, I think that would have blown the engine up. But, trying to download the films from today. It's not working for some reason. So I'm going to go do it slowly. Yeah, a few rays. Well, I was hoping for some place tonight, and I kind of committed myself. Well, there's no place coming in. The water's too coloured. But I was talking to someone who was fishing a bit further down the beach from me just now, and they had about 5. So yeah. So I might try and get down there Thursday. Obviously, you need to go fishing for place in the daylight. Transferring these files whilst I'm looking at myself on this thing is a bit weird. It's probably going to completely overload my computer. Cut. What's the game? Multiplies, episode 3. Right, so another go. Yeah, well, Sheerness was that's down Essex. Was that Essex, isn't it, down near Southend? Sheerness. Am I right? Yeah, there was a few rays getting caught around here in the last week or so, but I haven't heard of any recently. But they got to be here. Oh, Kent. All right, okay. What was I thinking of? Yeah, when we did our support your local tackle shops, and we did all the tackle shops around Kent, and we were talking to the guys on Sheppey, and they reckon there was a mark on Sheppey where they had 100 rays in one night. Quite something. Oh, really tired. Yeah, yeah. It's weird, isn't it? I don't know what it was like for rays there in the past, but we never used to catch rays around here, but we've been getting loads in the last couple of years. This time of the year, and it would have been this time of the year that we did our supported local tackle shops around Kent, because we got caught out by the lockdown, so we had to finish. We got as far as Southampton, and then we got locked down, and we had to do the rest west of Southampton after the lockdown had finished. And everyone was catching rays up to that point. What's the go-to bait? What do you fish with for rays? You use blueies or fish bait, mackerel or something like that? Yeah, well, yeah, you do hear a lot of fishermen's tales. That's why they call fishermen's tales, isn't it? Yeah, and most of the people that perpetrate the tales of the fishing tackle shops, because obviously they want to get you in there buying bait. I must admit, as we got bluesy top bait for rays, yeah, I bought some blues the other day actually. I've got some. I've got some blues in the freezer. In fact, I intended to take some down the beach with me tonight because I was intending to fish into the dark. But as I say, I got to 6 o'clock and it was starting to get dark. And I thought, you know what, I'm packing up. Gave up. There was just nothing happening. Yesterday in the daylight, I wasn't. Yesterday. Today was what I expected yesterday to be like. Yesterday I expected there to be no fish. I was down there to go casting and to practice and get, do a bit more about my do some more stuff on my multiplier project. I ended up catching conger eel, whiting, rock dinglings. The rods just didn't stop rattling. But today it was the other way around. I was intending to do a bit of fishing with a little bit of casting. Didn't catch any. Well, caught very little. Yeah, what's it like living on the Isle of Sheppey? It's kind of, it has a different atmosphere, doesn't it? It's kind of like a council estate on the sea, or am I getting that wrong? I've got a mate who base jumps off the bridge, and I was going to go down and pick him up. I was going to take my little dinghy down there and sort of fish him out of the river, but in the end he did a base jump and landed on the bank. Stop rocking my chair, mate. It looks horrible in the camera. I've got 9 people watching me. I haven't had a thumbs down yet. If you do YouTubing, you'll discover that there are people out there, or it might even be the one person who just spend their whole life looking to get onto videos and give it a thumbs down. Within seconds of you publishing it, you'll get a thumbs down. And when I first started doing it, it used to really peeve me off. But now I kind of feel like I'm missing out if I've not got a thumbs down. Yeah, I imagine the new bridge has kind of opened it up, hasn't it? would imagine. I mean, I don't know what it was like before, but it's kind of a motorway that goes to nowhere, doesn't it, really? Give it a chance. I'm proud. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah. Oh, somebody has. It's all right. I've got a thumbs down. Yeah, I wasn't asking. I wasn't asking you to press it. Where's everyone based? Where are you based, Edward? Yeah, I feel like I've arrived. Someone's giving me a thumbs down. All right, Dartford. All right, okay. Oh, hello, mate. Lord Lugworm. How you doing, mate? How you doing? I put you. I flagged your channel up on my Facebook page and pumped it around to various places. I don't know if you got any extra viewers out of it. Oh, Frinton. Frinton. Yeah, you're gonna have to help me. Where's Frinton? All right, okay. Maidenhead. That's a long way from the sea. You go fishing the Thames. Hey, Mohammed. How you doing? It's about Al Nur. No, I'm a great believer in YouTubers helping each other out. To be quite honest, because we're all struggling along with it. Yeah, whiting. We used to call them winter mackerel, but you don't get mackerel anymore. So, oh, I've got 2 thumbs down now. Well, I've definitely arrived. Just excuse me a second, guys. I'm just going to go and get myself a drink. I feel it goes much better with a whiskey. If anybody's asking. smooth hounds, yeah, mate. Yeah, I kind of had my first sessions on the smooth hounds last summer, and yeah, no, definitely one of my favourite fish off the beach, definitely. And the biggest one I had was at the end of the season. I had a sole rig out with like little tiny bit of black lug on a size 8 hook. And my rod suddenly goes, oh, bends right over, and it took me about 40 minutes to land it because I don't know what it was. It was running up and down, and I'm thinking I'm not going to land this because it's a tiny little hook. And it was a smooth end, but a nice one. Thanks, Dan. Live page on my timeline, good man. Right, okay. I mean, I'll take your word for that. I don't know how that works, but I've only really started doing these lives in the last week or so. Someone was talking about it. I've been meaning to do it, and I bought a special camera for doing lives with, but it's been nothing but a nightmare. So I'm speaking. It's taking at least 30 seconds before I'm seeing on the video me speaking. So there's a 30-second delay from my end. I don't know how long the delay is for you guys. So if you think I'm being a bit slow answering, that's why it is. Really? Wow. Yeah, wow. I mean, I've got some cart wings in the freezer. I'm thinking that they might be quite good to put out a smoothie bait. I bought it last year as well, carp, and I used it trying to get cod, but I didn't get any. And so I was kind of thinking that's not much good. But I was talking to Tony Kirridge the other day, and he could sell new coals to Newcastle. All right, 10 seconds. That's not too bad. He could sell coals to Newcastle. And he talked me into buying a box of frozen carp wings, so I'm going to give them another go. Oh, right, okay. Yeah, but for me, I know you're saying there's a delay, but because I'm watching it on my camera, but I'm not doing it on a phone, I'm watching myself on the screen, and literally what I'm seeing on the screen happened 30 seconds ago, which is a bit surreal. Anyway, guys, you're very good health. Yeah, I was catching them out on a boat last year on hardbacks. Yeah, well, wait till you know the cod are about. Yeah, the trouble is they weren't about last year. The odd one got caught. I think you need to go to the northeast coast really to be sort of consistent cod fishing. And hardback crabs. Yeah. I think hardback crabs are better than peelers, to be quite honest. Where my boat is, it's a sort of tidal river, and I've got a couple of crab pots now, and yeah, I've chucked them out, and I was getting a stone of lovely little hardbacks out of these bloody pots to the point I can hardly lift the bloody pots out of the water. If you see, I think a couple of my videos you can see on my boat, I've got a bucket full to the top with hardbacks, and the little buggers were escaping, so I probably got rotting hardback crabs all over my boat actually. And I tell you what else, wrasse on hardbacks. I'm a big fan of wrasse fishing again. Something my whole journey back into fishing really has been in the last 12 months. I used to fish a lot, and then I kind of gave it up. I carried on going out on my boat, but shore fishing. So I'm learning a lot of new stuff. So went wrasse fishing with John Locker. in the summer, and had some nice wrasse. He had some nice wrasse. I was too busy fannying around and filming and stuff like that. But went out onto a wreck out off Beachy Head here, and I had some cracking wrasse, big fat wrasse on hard shells. Hey Stuart, how you doing? I haven't actually been fishing with Jason, because the problem is until yesterday I've kind of self-isolated. I've not gone out fishing at all, and Jason lives in Eastbourne. It's a drive down the road. I mean, I suppose I could stretch a point and go there, but yeah, I haven't been out for a while. We've got a few projects lined up that we want to do together, and I want to take him out on a boat again, and I want to do a live from the boat with me and him. So it's one of the reasons why I got this camera. So yeah. I mean, yeah, jigging or drop shotting for wrasse would be quite fun. I don't know if you've seen these, but I've been making lures. I've got the makings for making soft lures, so I've got mould like that, which I reckon is going to be an absolute killer for pollock. And then I've got some smaller ones. I mean, obviously I've coloured these ones, but I can do them any colour I want really. And then one of my projects last year that didn't come to any fruition was mullet, and you might have seen, but I had a couple of videos of how do you catch bloody mullet. And the guy who was taking me out, he uses spoons, but he doesn't use a real worm on the end of it. He uses a little rubber worm. So I got the mould for making the worms as well. So yeah, no, Jason's a good guy. Yeah, Jason and I are good mates, I would suggest. We do a lot for each other. We're still doing the support your local tackle shop, and in fact I did Herne Bay to Hull the other day. Yeah, as I say, you're right, pollock are going to go mad for these. Yeah, we did Herne Bay to Hull. So we've now got something like 130 something shops on our support your local tackle shop campaign. He's very big into his getting kids into fishing, and he does rehome and tackle, and doing drawing competitions and all sorts of things for kids. I mean, personally, I don't like children. So. Hey, the blind angler. Hi, mate. How you doing? Where are you based? Yeah, I've been kind of chasing Jason on numbers. I was quite close to him at the start, because we kind of started doing our YouTube channels around about the same time, and then suddenly he's shot up by 500. Not making any allegations as to how he managed that, but I've stayed like 500 behind him on subscribers since then. We just keep going along, following each other along. But he is a good guy, Jason. We had a cracking trip down to Cornwall when we did the second part of the tackle shop. Yeah, thin lips are the answer. The guy who's my guru, he's found a place where the thin lips, around about now and about another week or so, they come back into fresh water and they sit in the mouth of this channel, just allowing the fresh water to flush over them. And he reckons they're cleaning parasites off their body, but they sit there for days, just a big shoal of thin-lip mullet. So we're going to go and try and do a film of that. Oh, down in Plymouth, down in Guzza. Yeah, I like it down there. we had great dreams about moving down to the West Country. I don't know if it's going to happen or not. Was there when I was down in Plymouth? I was driving down to Cornwall when I broke down, so I had to go into Plymouth, and I did a few tackle shops on the support your local tackle shop around Plymouth. Unfortunately, I didn't do the best ones. It turns out I just did the ones I knew about. But yeah, I do like Plymouth. But yeah, going back to the mullet thing, yeah, thin lips are the main thing. I think we get a lot of mullet near where my boat is, and you see them coming along and they're scooping the mud up, leaving a big cloud of mud behind them. But I've got a feeling quite a lot of my golden greys, they're just, I've had them feeding on bread. I've had it, you know, crossed out there and get them feeding, and I've had it with my crust with a hook in it, sitting in the middle of about 20 pieces of crust, and they come along and eat every single bit of bread but the one that you're fishing with. So they're very clever. They're a very clever fish. I will catch one this year though. I will catch, well, one, I can catch a few. What's the weather like down in Guz then today? It looked like it was raining down there. Yeah, a lot of people seem to be able to do it with bread, but I've done it. I mean, I've been down there. I went there one day. I was where my boat is. As I say, you get a lot of mullet along the river there. And I was there one day. I had a big bucket made up of bread mash and with salmon and pilchards and pilchard oil mashed into it. And I was there flicking it out into the water, and I was floating bits of crust. And one of the blokes in the boatyard said, "Oh, lend us a hook, lend us a hook." And he went and got his boat rod. It was about £30 line on it, and he tied this little hook that I was using on the end of it, and he dug some maddies out of the bank, and within 5 minutes he caught a bloody mullet. And I've been there all day with bread, not a thing. And in fact, he reckoned that the fish that took the hook, there was no bait on the hook, it was just a bare hook, and he'd seen the fish come and flipped the hook in front of it and it took it. Oh, yeah, I love them and I hate them. Oh, right. Yeah, I use fluoro line, I've free lined them, I float fishing through them, I've got some mullet spoons that I've used. I've got some mullet spoons here. Yeah, the guy who's been sort of showing me the ropes, he makes his own spoons for them. As I say, but it's all thin lit. And he took me to this sluice gate and said, "You'll definitely catch here." And I said, "Well, I tell you what, you catch the first one so I can see how it's done, and I'll fish the next one." It's a tidal river it was, and you see the tide coming. You can actually see the mullet working their way along the river. And unfortunately, where it was, they'd been cutting the grass on the bank. So there was a lot of grass on the surface, and the mullet came up and they literally swam around 3 times and all disappeared back down the river. So we didn't catch one. That's just my luck. Just my luck. And I think what it was that they didn't like the grass on the surface. It wasn't what they were used to. It wasn't what they were expecting. So they just went. Yeah. It's not even about spending money in them, although I don't think I can go into a tackle shop with it. In fact, when I did we did that fishing tackle challenge, I came back with so much gear, because I think every shop I went into, I saw things like, "Oh, one of them," and "Oh, I better have one of those." But I mean, my missus knows that if I'm going to go down a fishing tackle shop, she knows she's not going to see me for the rest of the day, because I get in there and start yakking. And there was a period when I couldn't go into a tackle shop without coming out with a new rod. So I bought quite a lot of rods. And I think Tony Kirridge knows that. I think I kept him going last year, buying fishing rods off him. Yeah, well, as I say, mullet is one of my challenges. It will be, yeah, I'm pretty sure that once I catch one, it will be an addiction. I know someone who was a mad keen carp angler actually, and he got into mullet fishing, and that's all he ever did. Me, I'm based in Seaford in Sussex, halfway between Brighton and Eastbourne. But I do go down the West Country a lot. I've got a caravan down on North Cornwall, so I go down there quite a lot. Obviously, I haven't been able to go down there for a little while, but we will be back down there as soon as we can. Yeah, funny old fish mullet. Every person I've spoken to has all told me the way they catch them, and the next person will tell you that's not the way to do it. They do it this way, and there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason. It almost sounds like you could do anything and catch them, but you know that's not true. Yeah, if you want to go into your local tackle shop, if they've got one of our stickers in the window, one of our posters, support your local tackle shop, use them or lose them posts, just go and say hi, you know, that you know me, and let us know. And if your tackle shop hasn't got one, let us know and we'll get them onto the system. I say Plymouth. Okay, I will do. I'll look at that. Yeah, in Plymouth I admit I miss some of the shops in Plymouth. I kind of ran out of time, and one of the shops I went to wasn't really a tackle shop. It was more an air gun shop. yeah, I don't want to lose my hair. So I might give up mullet fishing. Is that why it's called a mullet? Cheers. Oh, my PB species you caught last year. Last year, I mean, my PBs last year, well, definitely I had the biggest smooth hounds I've ever caught last year, and they weren't particularly big, about 8-pounders. Yeah, I'm going to do live from my boat as well. I had some nice big wrasse as well. Again, nothing special, but big for me. What else did I have last year? It was really notable. I mean, I had bullace last year. I don't think I've ever really targeted bullace, but I had some reason, nothing big, but they were just nice fish. You know, and they were the target species. What else? I had a couple of nice taupe. Again, nothing monstrous. Yeah, no, I had quite a good year last year, but there was nothing. There was no real monsters. It was just fun fishing. Where I go fishing North Cornwall, I've got a caravan near St Merrin, which is just outside Padstow. So try and fish there. Got to fish up the Padstow River, off the shore, you know, climbing down the rocks. I don't tell you the marks in North Cornwall I'm fishing because I get so slated. I did a video of one of the places I went to, and you could, I suppose, if you knew the area, worked out where it was. God, did I get some flack. And South Cornwall as well. You know, this really it's 30 minutes to the south coast where my caravan is. It's got a narrow part of Cornwall, so go down and fish South Cornwall. Go down to the Fowl, fish the Fowl River. Yeah. Oh dear. Okay, cool. Hello, weekend fisherman, 1984. How you doing? Good health to you. So how are you going to do your live from the boat? Are you just doing it straight on the phone, Lord Lugworm? I feel a bit strange calling you Lord Lugworm. I call you Lord, or my Lordship, or your Lordship. So you're going to do the live on your phone, or you know, you're going to get a bit of flash with it. Right. Yeah, no, I like being on my boat. Unfortunately, and it was the committee of which I am the chair decided that our boatyard is closed until they relax the travelling restrictions, because quite a few of our members have to travel to get to the boatyard, and so we kind of said, well, it's not fair on them if the rest of us are able to use our boat. So we said, Luggy, yeah, your Lordship. So our boatyard's shut at the moment. I have said that the moment that we get a good word, and I think that's probably coming fairly soon, we'll be able to get out on the boats again. Yeah, I've got some good plans for fishing this year. I've got good plans for fishing every year, to be truthful. It just doesn't necessarily come together. But what sort of boat you got, Luggy? Yeah, I've just bought this, and I tell you what, it is so good for doing vlogging. Well made up with it. Bernie Slade. I'm fine, mate. Yeah, I have to say that I make it hard for myself, because when I get out in the boat, I maybe have 3 GoPros running, because I've got a little one which I'll put on the, I've got that, which I'll put onto the fish finder, so you can actually do live cam of the fish finder, and so you can see the bottom and everything, which I can then edit into the film. And then I'll have a body camera on, and then I'll have a camera at the back of the boat somewhere, which is great. But when it comes to editing it, oh cheers bud. Yeah, when it comes to editing it, it's a nightmare. What you're meant to do is if you've got more than one camera, you're meant to clap, and then you get the peak. You put the peaks together and it lines up. Yeah. I mean, I've got an 18-foot Raider. I love it. And I've actually got a little dinghy as well. I've got a little inflatable. No, I never travelled in a boat. Last time I was in the London docks was running through it on the London Marathon. You might have seen me because I wasn't going very fast. Yeah, or the other thing that you can get a clapperboard app on your phone, and you just make sure that all the cameras are pointing at it, and it counts down and makes a clap, but it makes a clapper sound, but it also goes from black to white, so you can actually line that up as well. It's British built. It's an Eastbourne boat. I wasn't 100% sure, because how do you know? But apparently, if it's got a door on the cabin, it's British built. If it hasn't, it isn't. So mine's got a door. Bernie, I stuck it out for about another hour, and then I binned it because just things kept going wrong. And I kind of thought, so it's one of those nights. I think I'm gonna cut my losses and leave now. So I had a few more casts on that rod. Didn't catch any more fish. I binned it. But I was speaking to somebody on Facebook earlier on who said, "Oh no, I had 5 place tonight." Really? I don't know where he was fishing. Probably down Edinburgh Road, or down the Buckle, I guess. Yeah, weekend fisher. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I do get about. Might see me on YouTube, of course. Yeah, you say that about the light coming through. I can see the light coming through the glass on mine, actually, which is what made me worry that it was a Polish boat, but it checks out as a British boat. Yeah, you can see light coming through the glass, which is a bit worried, but the roof doesn't flex. It's as solid as a rock. And as I say, they reckon that if it's got a door and a cabin, it's a British boat, which mine has. So it's a good boat. The engine's got a 115 horsepower Suzuki 4-stroke on the back, and I just think it's a little bit heavy for the boat. It'd probably go better with a 90 on the back than it does with a 115. I don't want to get rid of it because it's a cracking engine. It's an amazing engine. But it does sit quite heavy astern down in the thing, and I put a fin on it to actually get the stern up when I'm on the plane, because otherwise I have to have the boat nose down in the water, which makes the steering really heavy. But I do like it. It's a safe boat. Yeah, maybe I need to go and have a look at a couple of British boats to make sure I haven't been sold a duffin. I mean, I'm happy with it. It's solid enough. Just on a bright sunny day when you're underneath the decks, you can see if you can see some light coming through. Yeah, as I say, I think 90 horsepower is the right size engine for it. I think 115 is too heavy. What I attempted to do was to keep the engine and sell the hull and put it onto another hull, but I mean the downside on the Raider, as far as I'm concerned, is that you have to climb through to get up out of the bow. You can't walk around the cabin. It would be nice to have a little walkway around the side so you can get to the front of the boat. So it's a bit of a faff doing that. But other than that, no, it's great. Big high freeboard sides. You don't feel like you're going to fall out of it. Yeah, no, it's good. It's good. It does motor. I mean, weekend fisher, I'm sure if we sat down and we exchanged life history, we'd come up with some time when we'd work together or been close up to work together, but I'm not going to do that on here. Yeah, I mean, I had a Pilot 19 before, and it wasn't a walk around, but you could get around it, shall we say? You know, there was a ledge that you could walk, get your toes on, and the rails to hang on, and you could get around to the front of the boat. That was a good boat. It was a good boat, and strange enough, it was the boat that was built by Bernie, who's on his. What did you say? What relation is he to you, Bernie? What is Chris Jackson? Are you the chap who joined the live group? I asked you quite a few questions about joining. No, I'm not. I'm not on any live groups. Yeah, that 6500 CT. I must admit, I put them bearings in it and put some rocket wheel bearings in it, and it is singing. It really is. The only thing about it is, Marley. No, I don't know. It doesn't ring any bells for me. I'm the live group, is that on Facebook, is it? I'm not on any live groups. I did have a bait pump. I used to do a lot of pumping, but it was quite a big diameter pump. It was, they now use quite thin tube ones, don't they? And I used to go down Pevensey and pump down there. And you're right, it's a lot better than digging, definitely. But when I left home, when I ran away from home, my ex-missus decided everything that was in the garage that she didn't want went in a skip. I think my bait pump was one of the things that went in the skip, unfortunately. Oh, okay. Oh, right, okay, yeah. So Ed, what diameter bait pump are you using? Is it a big sort of 2-inch bore, or is it the smaller ones? I mean, you can't beat fresh outs for bait, that's for sure. You know, these stripped out black lug are all right, but they're compromised. But you get them out and keep them in a bit of water, and use them with all their guts in. Definitely better bait. Yeah. JCB, yeah, it might be a bit pushed to get it down on the beach though. Hi George and Paul. Yeah, JCB. Yeah, I must admit, it just crossed my mind when I did a lot of bait digging. How could you get down here and do this industrially? Me, never fished a match in my life. It's not my bag. It really isn't. Where was George fishing tonight then? Good Lord, my man. Yeah, Lord Luggy. We should all touch our forelocks when we speak to Luggy, because he is a lord after all. So I'm just watching some of my video. Mate, I haven't been out since March last year. Well, I didn't blank. I didn't blank. I didn't catch a lot. I'll have to catch one of your lives off the beach or out on a boat, rather, just to see how you're doing it. Because it's always good to watch other people's work and copy their ideas. And likewise, you know, there might be some stuff that I could suggest to you. It's a learning curve. You're always learning, aren't you? Always learning. I'm just watching my footage now. I was trying a mouth camera to get the pendulum cast going. Watch the spool going. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've got dirty lens. Do you mind if I put something up from Angling Trust? I mean, I'm a great supporter of Angling Trust. So as long as you're supportive of the trust, I think they've done a great deal. I've circulated to as many groups on Facebook as I can each time that they put something else out. I went to the Blue Shark thing this week, which was quite interesting, and I'm quite looking forward to the IFCA meetings to see what they have to say. Yeah, what I say, you know, just little things like me mentioning doing the clap thing. If you hadn't thought of it, it does make it so much easier when you're editing things together. And particularly if you've got two videos running close together, and it doesn't matter, you can't see the lips moving on one of them, as long as you've got it roughly lined up, makes life very easy. What do you use for editing your videos? I personally use Filmora, which I can't fault. I think it's great. Well, I've been looking through my videos from tonight. I don't think I've got enough to put together for an episode. I might have to have another session out. I mean, I've never tried DaVinci. I hear a lot of people rating it, but I find that the Filmora does all I need it to do. So why learn something else? I tried Premiere Pro for a while, and yeah, I guess if you're any good at what you're doing, it's the best thing to be using. But it's too complex for me. It's a bit like using Photoshop. I find Photoshop too complex. I mean, if I've got a book or something like that, or a set of instructions, I can follow them on Photoshop, but I can't remember how to do it. Doing all the layers and stuff like that. Yeah, but you didn't catch what I said. I use Filmora 10 for editing mine, and it is good. And it's one of these ones you pay a one-off payment on it, so you're not having to pay subscription like you would do with my Adobe and what have you. And so far they're as good as gold. They upgraded from 9 to 10 for free. Yeah, Ed, mate, take care. See you, and catch you on here soon. I mean, lives is the way forward as far as I'm concerned. I'm going to do some more lives. Just watching my video showing my catch of the night. Ding-a-ling. I've got a thing on my rig. No real change for us until March 29th when we move to a lifted and outdoor sports camp reserve. Yeah, it must be really frustrating down where you live, Guy. Yeah, 29th of March, it's just over 4 weeks away, isn't it? I mean, you have to say, Angling Trust, big up to them for getting us permission to fish. You know, and I've heard a lot of people slagging off the Angling Trust, but you know, if they hadn't been there shouting our, fighting our corner on that, we wouldn't have been allowed to fish. Yeah, I mean, if you're getting on with Da Vinci, and I hear a lot of people say good things about Da Vinci, don't change. You know, because it takes a little while. Like all these things, you have to learn how to do it with them. But that when they upgraded to 10, they introduced quite a lot of little features that are quite nice. You can do for Da Vinci for free. I mean, I think it has a watermark on it, but you can have a play with it and see if you like it or not. The only thing about Da Vinci, the only thing about Filmora is you do need quite a lot of processor in your computer. It will you will lock out and freeze out. So you do have to have quite a powerful computer. And I upgraded my computer because of it, to be honest, because I got fed up with it crashing all over the bloody place. You know, and you know what it's like. As long as you keep saving it where you are, if it crashes, it'll go back to where you saved it. But you can guarantee that if you've just done a lot of work, you know, and you're about to press the save button, it'll be then that it freezes. And you go, no, you've got to go all the way back and do that again. Do you go fishing down on the Thames, Dave? I used to go to Windsor a lot fishing when I was a kid. It's funny, do you find do you find that these live centres seem to settle down after a while? Because this seems to be running a lot better than it was. Okay, weekend fishing, mate. Take care. Thanks very much for the sub. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't go course fishing anymore. It's just when I was a kid, I used to go fishing on the Thames. It was more of me and my mates used to go and camp on the river and get up to nuisances, get up to mischief, but on the pretext of fishing. But didn't catch many fish, but we did drink lots of stuff and swim in the river and chop down trees and all sorts of things that we shouldn't be doing. How many we get? I've got 9 watching. Yeah, the Filmora autosaves. Filmora autosaves, but it's always, you know, it's, you guarantee it'll be just after a load of work when it crashes, and you won't have saved it. Or you've done some fiddly lining things up, you know, and you just got it lined up, and it freezes up on you, and you lose it, and you've got to go back to faffing around trying to get it again. Am I from London? Originally, well, right on the outskirts of London. I live down on the south coast of Sussex now. But originally I came from Ruislip. What about yourself? Where are you from, George? Oh, sorry, you asked me before, I missed it. Where are you from, George? What Filmora does is Filmora doesn't download the editing clips, it downloads proxies, so it's working with smaller files, which means that when it's actually doing its bit, it's not big files, so it doesn't freeze so badly. But if you make the mistake of which I've done in the past, where you decide I'm going to move that to a different file, the Filmora doesn't see it anymore, and then you've got to go back and start faffing around with it. But yeah, you're right. What you mustn't do is you mustn't be moving things around when you're editing. And then when you press the export button, that's when it starts to sew it all together and renders your final clip. So what you can do, and what I have done in the past, is if I'm doing a long film, I'll do it in 3 or 4 segments. So I'll do the first segment, export it, save that as a file, then do the next segment, export that and save it as a file, and so on, and then just patch it all together, and then you can edit it again from those files, which actually makes it a lot easier to work with. Right, so East London, lived in Hertfordshire, now South Wales. Right, okay. Whereabouts in Hertfordshire? Because I mean, I wasn't a million miles from Hertfordshire, where I was living on the outskirts of London. My sister lived in Watford for a little while. And actually I'm working, I've got a project in Barnet at the moment, which is also in Hertfordshire, so I'm going up to there quite a lot. I mean, I don't crash now because I've got a more powerful computer, to be truthful. Ah, Welling, right, okay. Yeah, well, I say Barnet's not a million miles from there. I've got a good mate who lives out that way as well. trouble with Welwyn Garden City, it's a long way from the sea. Yeah, no, it makes good sense. I mean, and I mean, I don't know how you can do it with DaVinci, but with Filmora, you can blend it in. You can use a transition from the first segment to the second segment in your final edit, so it's seamless. Works really well. And for instance, things like your music and stuff like that, you can add the music once you've done all the editing if you're going to put music on it. So you can put the thing together and add the music to it. And you know, I've got like stock intro and outro. Just add those on at the end as well. Yeah, I mean, I always try and produce in 4K. The trouble is, some of my cameras now are 1080p, but yeah, I try and edit in 4K because, I mean, most people say you don't need to because people are watching it on their phone. Well, I like to watch YouTube on a big screen TV, and my favourite channels are the ones that are in, you know, beautiful scenery or beautiful blue seas and what have you, and to see that in 4K, I just think it's amazing. You know, it's as good as David Attenborough. You know, some of the production now you can do in 4K. What made you start a YouTube channel? I tell you what it was, Mark. I about 2-3 years ago, I was quite ill. I had some sort of I didn't know what it was at the time, but I think it turned out it was an inner ear infection. But basically, everything span. As soon as I'd move, I'd get up in the morning and the house would spin. Every time I moved my head, the room would spin. So all I could really do was to sort of stagger down here into the conservatory, put the television on, and just sit very still and watch telly. Because if I moved my head at all, the room would spin and I'd feel quite ill. And after a while, you've seen everything on Netflix and what have you. So I started watching YouTube, and I've never really bothered with YouTube. I knew it was there, and I had put a few videos up on YouTube, but only as ways of sharing things. And I started watching Graham Pullen, and as a consequence of that, I started talking to Graham, and he came down the boatyard. And he came out on my boat, and I thought, well, actually, I could do this, and that's what started me off, really. So I started doing a YouTube channel, and actually, it was funny. We were having a discussion yesterday with a bunch of YouTubers about what's worse, to miss a PB because you're filming, or have your camera pack up when you're catching your PB. And I basically said, well, there's two types now. There's the YouTuber that fishes, and there's the fisher who YouTubes. Now, if you're a YouTuber who fishes, you would be more upset about the camera packing up. If you're a fisher who YouTubes, then you'd be more upset about losing a fish. And I kind of had to admit to myself that I think I've become a YouTuber who fishes. I like doing the filming, you know. And part of the reason I got the ump and packed up and came away from fishing this evening was because my cameras were playing up. So you know, if I was a mad keen fisherman and not a filmer, I'd probably still be down there fishing. So that's me. Have you got a channel, Mark? Right, to edit a 4-hour live. Well, as far as I'm aware, a 4-hour live is just streams for 4 hours, so it's just streaming out. There's no editing involved. To edit a 4-hour film, I would never put out a film that's 4 hours long, because I don't think anybody's going to watch it. I try and keep my videos to about 30 minutes, and you know, roughly maybe 35 minutes, 25, something like that. There's a lot of us doing it now, Mark. There is a lot of us doing it. Yeah, and you know, if you've been out, say I've been out on a boat all day and I've had 4 cameras running on and off through the day, and I'm trying to get it down to a half-hour video, that can take quite a long time. It can take quite a long time, because you're trying to patch things together, you're trying to get it into a sequence, you're trying to get it to tell a story. You've got to be quite ruthless in the cutting, because you've got to trim out quite a lot of time. So it can take quite a long time. I mean, John Locker, bless him, and he's a good mate, but you'll notice that a lot of his stuff he's doing with just one camera. So it's a lot easier. Hi, Sandy. Yeah, I mean 30 minutes. Occasionally I'll watch a video longer than that. You know, sometimes Graham Pullen's stuff is longer than that, and I'll watch them. But 30 minutes is a good. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm lucky. I'm with you on that, mate. I kind of do it for fun. But YouTubing has, I guess it's because we've been in lockdown and what have you. Yeah, the filming has sort of taken over a little bit. The problem is that once you start getting in the YouTube thing, and it's I guess YouTube do it for a reason. It's a hungry machine. You know, it's hungry for film, and if you're not making a film, you've got to be making a film. You've got to be putting something out every week, because you start to lose viewers otherwise. And I don't want to do that. I've seen a lot of people doing all these rig tying bloody videos and stuff like that, and I've done it. I have tried doing the rig tying videos, and what I notice is they get very few views. They're a lot of work. I'd rather say not put something out for a week than to have to sort of scrape something together like that. You know, if I am going to do something, I'm trying to do something that's original. One of my projects that I want to do, and I'm not sure how we're going to do it. We started our Save the Local Tackle Shop thing, me and Jason, and it was over a conversation on the beach. And it was about, there was a guy lived in Seaford called John Darling who passed away about 4 or 5 years ago now. He was an author and a photographer, and wrote in fishing magazines and shooting magazines. Oi oi, oi oi, Skippy Kung Fu. And he wrote a book called, which basically he fished every single fishing mark around England, well, United Kingdom and Ireland. And he wrote a book about it. And in that, it had all the fishing tackle shops. And when you read that, you realise how many of them are gone. The book was published in 1980, so it's just over 40 years old now. So that's what started us on our Save Your Local Tackle Shop thing. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to go round, or go through the book page by page and publish each page, and then put it out to people to say, update this, you know, what is this, how it still is, where is it the fish here? And so we do like an update of it, but do it on modern media. So we do it on Facebook, or we do it on YouTube. I don't know, it's a plan. I need to find his widow. I haven't spoken to her for a long time. I can't even remember her name actually, but she must still be living around here, to see if she'd give us the rights to do that. Yeah, George Ray, mate. Yeah, certainly keeps me saying Facebook. Go see my weather report video and tackle box reveal video. You'll see how I am. Oh, just a giggle. Yeah, as I say, I kind of made a. I mean, I never say never, because you never know. But I'm not doing rig tying stuff. One, I'm not very good at it, and two, as you say, there's 1,000 of them out there. I did do making soft lures because somebody had asked me about it, and I thought, well, you know, in the States, there's lots of people doing it in the States, but there's not many people doing it in the UK, and you can tell that because it's not actually easy to get the stuff for it. So I did a couple on that, and I will do a follow-up to that because I will show me catching some fish on them when I can get out. I do a bit of wildlife filming as well, and I did put some of my wildlife films out on the fishing channel, only because I wanted to get some viewers on it. I have got a wildlife channel, but I think it's got about 30 subscribers to it. It's not 20 years. No, John Darling's not 20. I saw him out. I was out on my boat. We went out and we saw him. Yeah, maybe it's 30 years. Yeah, when I saw him. He was out with his wife and a couple of other people. I think it was probably his last trip out. He wasn't very well. Yeah, he was very ill. He had throat cancer. I mean, I've been fishing with him. In fact, I had a starring role as a male model on the front page of Air Gunner. He took me out. We went out in the woods and took some shots because he did a lot of photography for the Air Gunner magazine. Yeah, you're probably right. It's not 20 years though. I'm sure it's not 20 years. Maybe it is. I'm gonna have to look it up in a minute. I'm in his book. I'm in his bass fishing book. There's pictures of him in it. Let me find his book, see if I've got it at the hand. So there's John's book on bass fishing. And that's me casting a cast net. That's me casting a cast net. And where else am I? I'm in this book a couple of times. Yeah, I think his wife's name was Angie. I've got to ask the local seafood pages if anybody knows her, because I want to ask her if I can reproduce some of his pages out of his. That's me fishing on the groin at Splash Point. So that was my claim to fame. And that's the book that we want to go off and revisit some of the marks in it, and put it out to guys like yourselves and say, well, who knows South Wales, and put the pictures in here, what he says, and update it on people's views. Yeah, 2004, that's about right. It's longer than I thought. I said 4 or 5 years ago, so that's bloody 17 years ago. Jesus, doesn't time go by? Yeah, good God, 2004 was it? Yeah, a lot of things happened in my life since 2004, that's for sure. No, I don't think so. What, in here? I mean, it's obviously it's JD on the front cover holding the big bass. Although I did go fishing there with him on his boat. He had a Raider. I think he had Raider number 2, second one built at Eastbourne. But he was weird. He didn't want to cuddle on it. He had it open. He liked to have the wind in his hair. Those are all my lures. He came down and got all my lures out in the front garden and took that picture. Yeah, it's a nice bloke, JD. Nice bloke. No, actually, I haven't caught a large bass for quite a while now. Actually, I've kind of gone off bass fishing a bit. It's a bit weird. I did so much of it for quite a few years. That's all I did. Derek Townsend. The only Townsend I know is Graham Townsend. He's a boxer. Well, he was a boxer. Oh right, okay. No, I had a book by Graham Pullen about bass fishing. I had a book by Mike Ladle about bass fishing, and I had the John Darling one. And unfortunately, the other books I had, I think they went in the skip with the rest of my fishing stuff when I left my missus. Oh, you think I'm interesting, or I could bore you to death with interesting things about me. Well, guys, I think it's got to be around about now that we start thinking about winding this up. Been really good chatting to you. Yeah, no, really good. So this is a whole new thing. I've never really been involved in this live malarkey before now. I do intend to do one off the beach. I did toy with doing one off the beach tonight actually, but as I say, I lost my spirit. Packed up and came home. Oh, thank you. Thank you, so nice. I'm going to have problems going out through that door. My head will be so big. Yeah, if any of you got YouTube channels, let me come on, CJ. How the hell do you climb out of a plane? Have you not seen any of my videos? Oh, good. Right, I won't go yet then. As you're enjoying it, George. You need to search through and see some of my videos. Wild Bunch Join. What's that? Sorry, is that a group? Explain. Is that a bunch of people who do lives, is it? The Wild Bunch? Or is it Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid hanging out in the wilds of Arizona? Yeah, tell me more about this Wild Bunch. I will join. Always fancied being a bit of an outlaw. Yeah, as I was saying, if you've got a YouTube channel, let me know, share it. Come and join my, if you haven't done so already, join my Facebook group, which is Sea Fishing with CJ, obviously on Facebook. A whole bunch of guys and gals join the live shows and are real good fun. Yeah, mate. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't know how that works. How do I link to that? Yeah, I've got the fowls gals. I mean, I've got dyslexic fingers when I type as well. Is that a group? Is that a group on Facebook, or how does it work? Yes. How can you tell? Yeah. They say you can take the boy out of the army, but you can't take the army out of the boy. It's true. What about you, Dave? You? Oh, that's just my bad back. Anyway, as I'm saying, join my Facebook group. That way we can communicate and I can put out messages if I'm going to go live again, because I'm not sure how to do this over YouTube. And if you've got Facebook channels, sorry, YouTube channels, feel free to publish them on my group, and I will promote them in any way I can. And likewise, if you can circulate mine, it's all about the subscription. I'm never going to make a lot of money out of YouTube, but it's nice to get a little bit of money coming from time to time. Okay, I will do. I mean, I'm a bit nervous about being out here, and no, I wasn't in the paras. I did a tour with the paras in Iraq, and 2 para in Iraq, and I ended up coaching their boxing team, but I wasn't in the military by then. I was working for the government. ATC. What's that? Help me with what? Sorry. What, circulating my my channel on my bad back. Oh right, ATC. Right, okay, yeah, I was in a CCF when I was a kid. And then I joined the TA, and then I joined the regular army. Did 9 years flying helicopters in the Army Air Corps. Yeah, do that, Bluggy. Yeah, do it. And yeah, that's good. Okay, mate. I'm gonna call it a night to everyone, and say good night to everybody, because I am knackered now, and got to get up early tomorrow because we've got a stair lift coming in, because my mum's going to come and stay with us for a bit. Yeah, mate. No, please do that. Yeah, please do that. You know, as I say, it's all about helping each other out. Right, guys. I'm going to say good night and bid you a fond farewell, and we'll do this again soon. Yeah, take care of yourself, mate. Yeah, remember everyone, stay safe, stay sane, stay happy, stay fishing. I was too short in the arms to fly.